Welcome back to the Nuttycast, episode, I think, 6, 7? Taking a real guess at this point. 7. And I am here with my own sister-in-law, one of many. Mary comes from a large family, but this is Cassie Childs, married to Mary's younger brother, Stephen Childs. And she was, I think, my first ever real employee. Welcome, Cassie.
Hello.
So, Cassie, would you like to just briefly introduce yourself? Who are you? Why are you here? What gives you the right? And how did we meet?
Well, I have been working for Nutty Novelties for, how many years?
It's been like 10
I was going to say,
almost.
like 10
It's been, like, a long
years. Like, I started shortly after you were the Nut Hut.
Oh, man. And what did you do?
I started off doing the markets. That was fun. Back then, we still had the packaged peanuts and, like, the different assortment of,
Man.
You remember?
Yeah.
It wasn't just nut butters. We had, like, actual nuts.
Yeah, for a while there, we were in this, like, transitional period where I was still trying to sell bags. We had bags of, like, nuts and prepackaged trail mixes and stuff alongside of the nut butters. Wow. Yeah, I kind of, like, forgot about that. But, yeah. And you were, was it Phoenixville or Lansdale where you first started?
My very first market was Phoenixville, but then I became a regular at Lansdale.
Man. Yeah. And you forgot to mention, how do we meet in the first place?
Well, through my husband.
And what was that very first meeting like? I feel like it was at my house.
You want me to tell this story?
Remember? Yeah, go. What do you remember? I mean, I'm kind of shady on some of the details.
Well, it was a little gathering of all the in-laws. We were just hanging out at your house. And Mary, your wife, was just in the process of warning me about some of your qualities and your sense of humor. And just as she was saying, oh, sometimes he likes to moon people.
Whoa.
You come walking by.
Was there a mooning that day?
We'll
We'll never know.
I vividly remember a very full moon.
All right, cut.
You brought it up. I wasn't going to tell that story.
Yeah, sorry about that last question. We had some technical difficulties there. Cassie started saying things that were completely insane. So I apologize to our listeners. All right, and we are joined by Cassie Childs and special guest Sophia Childs is here with us too.
Can you say hi?
This is my niece. She is one of my top 20 favorite nieces and nephews. I have probably close to 20. But she might be the most adorable. She's up there. So in the early days we were doing the production at my house. And like I said, approved by the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture and the whole bit. It was legit. But it was crazy because we were doing it on the third floor of my townhouse. And Cass, like, what do you remember about those days? And like, what was the process like then versus now?
Well, first off, it was a lot of steps. Going up with 30-pound boxes of peanuts up all those steps.
Yeah.
But no, it was really fun. I mean, you had, I think, 2 machines.
Yep.
And the numbers back then were hilarious in comparison to now.
I've looked back a few times and it's like what we made for like a week back then is not even what we make of like one flavor now sometimes.
Right.
Other than like the numbers and the number of people, I guess, do you feel like anything major has changed from those days, or does it feel like mostly the same?
I mean, there's definitely a lot of major changes. I mean, obviously the numbers, but there's just more variety now. You're online.
Trying to do stuff like this now. This is kind of a new thing.
You're in grocery stores, and just it really has taken off since then.
Yeah. And I do, and this pains me to do, honestly, but I have to give Cassie a little bit of a shout out because I was here on Friday night. I think it was like 9 o'clock. I had to pull an order for the Chili Pepper Festival. And lo and behold, Cassie is here by herself, 9 o'clock on a Friday, trying desperately to make cappuccino peanut butter, which has continued to be a struggle in production. And stay tuned. There will be, I don't know when, I'm not promising when, but there will be a experimental version of a new, maybe we'll call it cappuccino or maybe we'll call it something else, but something coffee-ish peanut butter that I'm excited about, and I think you guys will be too. But it was just really cool showing up on like a Friday night and Cassie's here like working, and I was like, you probably should be working faster. Like, why? No, I'm kidding. So yeah, I think Cassie was our first market rep too, besides myself. Pretty sure even before Jesse, I think. And yeah, the shirt Cassie is wearing today is from those days, probably circa 2014. Cass, will you tell our listeners, who are you wearing today?
This is our original Nutty shirt. It's very old, not quite as comfy as our new ones, but a good shirt nonetheless. I couldn't get rid of it. I had to keep it because a lot of old memories in this shirt, doing all the farmers markets and
as was my style back in the day, it has a lot of text.
Yes, it says Nutty Novelties, unique, healthy nut butters, and other nutty novelties. The other would be the nuts that I was talking about.
And I just fell asleep.
This shirt has a back too.
Oh, and there's a lengthy back. NuttyNovelties.com, freshly ground in Souderton, PA, which was in fact my home.
Yeah, that back at your house, Souderton.
Yes. So I don't even have those shirts anymore. I sweated through all of them. So yeah, Cass, what do you remember about those days, like being pregnant and all that in the early days?
Yeah, my first pregnancy with Emily, we were still at your house, going up all those steps, and I always joke that your steps are what put me into labor, because I actually did go into labor the next day, the morning, but there's coincidence. And
Emily is a blessing, so you know
of
what?
Course.
It all worked out.
Yeah, and Emily, she was your first little promoter too.
My word. I was combing through old pictures the other day. There's some of her as this little pipsqueak holding nut butters.
Yeah,
we'll have to put some of those up on our Instagram.
Yeah,
but she's huge now. But she was so cute.
She's still cute. Yeah. So, and then with Eli, that was my second pregnancy. That's when I officially resigned from the production manager position. We were moved into Popcorn Works at that point. Things were starting to get big, and I came back and it was like, what did I miss?
Oh man.
But yeah, when I resigned from the production manager position, we all went out to the melting pot. And that was just the funnest, best day ever. Everybody came. We had such good food. They sent me home with like all the spoilage. I had chocolate covered strawberries to go home with, a bunch of gifts. I still have some of the cards that everyone wrote for me, like that actually made me cry. Like so many heartfelt words, and I don't know. I just felt so spoiled and so loved, and I've always felt appreciated working for you. So thank you for all of that.
You hear that? Deep down in my grinchy soul, there is a heart. I'm just kidding.
So I can look past all the other stuff.
Yeah, you've definitely put up with a lot. I was just remembering too, when when we first moved to Popcorn Works, we just had one little room.
We
like,
did.
smaller than this room.
Yeah,
and
the
it felt like a
shelves were in
paradise.
the middle. Like, remember that?
Yeah.
We had, like, the grinders around the shelves and then the shelves in the middle. So it was like everything in one room.
And it felt like paradise compared to three flights of stairs.
Right.
And trucks backing into my driveway with pallets.
Yeah.
I was like, it's all on one floor? I don't care if it's a closet. It's perfect.
It was still bigger than the room we were in at your house.
It was bigger than that. And you helped us transition into the next room. And I remember you picked the paint color.
I did. I kind of regret that decision now. I'm like, I should have went with a different color.
No, it's cute.
It's nice.
It's a nice blue.
It's nice. I'm just not the person. I don't know why you chose me for that. I appreciated it. It was fun.
It was great.
Ripping up the old floor and
Oh
doing all
gosh.
that too.
This building really was a mess. Like, Steve really could have done a lot more to get us set up. No, just kidding. One more story from back to my house. So at one time, pumpkin spice peanut butter was an experiment for us, and we were still figuring things out. And I think I mixed up teaspoons with tablespoons.
Teaspoons and tablespoons. It's a pretty significant difference. Yeah. That is one of my favorite stories. So we're upstairs in this little space and we're doing the experiments, trying to get the recipe just right, tasting it all and everything. And Caleb makes a batch and it looked dark. Like, it was coming out pretty muddy looking. And
it was like black tar
was...
coming out of the machine. And I was like, Cass, what did you do?
Not to mention all the pumpkin spice dust in the air and on the walls. Like, it was thick.
In the air conditioner.
We're talking, he used 3 times the amount of spice you're supposed to. Because how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon?
Several.
So
I had to get out of there. It was too much of a mess. I was like, Cass, you got to figure this one out.
I was cleaning pumpkin spice out of my nose for at least a week.
No, that is an embellishment. That is not true.
No, it's not. Do you remember the air conditioner, what that looked like afterwards?
I do distinctly remember that. I was like, oh my gosh. I remember mixing it and being like, something doesn't seem right, but I did everything it says. Yeah. Just dump it in and see what happens.
Yeah, let's give it a taste. Did you taste it?
Oh, yeah.
I think I tasted it. I remember, like, hating my life after I tasted it.
It was pretty heavy on the pumpkin flavorings.
I think that's what killed pumpkin spice in general for me.
Yeah, now you haven't had it again since. Oh, my word. One more story, if you don't mind. If you don't mind. Getting very personal here. The room that we're in now was once not just Nuttycast Studio P, but was in fact a special room for Cassie. Do you want to take over? So,
yes, as you've all been informed now, I am a mother, and as a working mother, sometimes you have to take care of, I was breastfeeding, so I needed my time to pump, and this room is where I did my pumping. And
it actually worked out great. It was nice and private, right?
Yeah, it was private. Clean. It was comfy. There's one time I was up here, and I'm sure you're all familiar with Snapchat. My friend was Snapchatting me, so while I was pumping, I'm on break, so I sent her a snap head up, from the head up, and I said, "It's so cold in here," or something along those lines, and she responds, "Who's that man behind you?"
Oh my gosh.
And my mind starts racing, and she starts talking. I forget if she said in like the window or in the door, but we're like on the second floor, so window wasn't making sense. So I had a feeling she was joking, but I was also panicking. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "I saw a man in that snap." And I'm like, "No, you didn't. There's nobody up here. What are you saying?"
Who was? Was it Sarah?
This was Sarah.
Freaking Sarah.
And So I'm full on like, I'm about to have a panic attack. And she finally sends me a snap cracking up because I like was so upset. I was like, please tell me you're joking. Please, please, please tell me you're joking. And then she's like cracking up. She's like, yeah, I was just kidding. Like,
Sarah, that is evil.
That was so mean.
And hilarious.
And it's kind of funny because we have like this like running joke that this room might be haunted.
Yes.
Because I like hear noises when I'm downstairs by myself at night. So I'm always like half joking that, there's a ghost up here. So I didn't know if she saw an actual man or a specter. Like,
now the spirits have generally been pleasant. They seem to be, fond of our nut butters.
Mean no harm.
Mean no harm. There have been a few murders in this building now. Maybe cut that part out. All right, so Cassie, you have seen intimately how the sausage is made. What is your favorite Nutty Novelties products? And more importantly, what is Steven's favorite?
Okay, Steven's allergic to peanuts. That's my husband.
Boo, Steven.
Yeah, so he doesn't have a favorite. But my favorite is cinnamon almond butter, mainly because I just find so many uses for it. It's great on apples and oatmeal. I like to make, oh my goodness. So I get cinnamon waffles, the little ones, the frozen waffles, and I put this and make a sandwich.
Ooh.
Highly recommend. Great snack.
Ooh. And where can you find these lovely sounding products?
The Nutty Novelties? What do you say?
.com.
Cut that. I wasn't ready.
Wow, Cassandra, those products sound amazing. Where can I find some?
Nuttynovelties.com.
Wow. Free shipping for only $39 orders.
Get some now.
So, Cass, we currently make a product called the Concoction. And would you like to tell our listeners the origination of that?
Yeah, so back when we were still in your house, we would make concoctions, but they weren't to sell. It was more to just like get the previous flavor out of the machine to get the new flavor in. But we would take the concoctions home and eat them, and they're delicious. And I remember saying, like, why don't you just sell this? Like, you can have a disclaimer saying, like, it's never going to be the same flavor. You're never going to get two of the same concoctions. Just say what it is. And
yes,
sure enough, you're selling a good amount of concoctions.
We do. We sell, and in fact, we got them on sale right now. I want to say they're 3 for $10 at nuttynovelties.com. And yes, the label is loaded with disclaimers because there's no like nutrition facts. The ingredients are like a rough guess. It's like it may or may not contain any of these. We don't really wholesale it to stores. It doesn't have a UPC code. Do you remember the original name of it?
No, what was it?
We originally called it a mixed nut butter.
Oh, mixed nut. Yeah, that makes sense.
Made sense, but also people thought it was taking mixed nuts like right out of planters and just dumping it through and making it a nut butter, and that is not what this was. So I was like, we gotta call it something else. So we called it the Concoction.
It's more for like the real nutty fans who love all the flavors and aren't gonna be disappointed in what they get.
And as is disclaimed on the label, is a little adventurous.
Oh yeah.
It's for the adventurous.
It's so good. Give it a try.
3 for $10, nuttynovelties.com. Help us get rid of them. Quick real shout out to Steven. Steven helped us with the building. Steven's a carpenter. He's helped us. He helped me build my very first ever display.
Yeah.
And do you remember where that display is?
Is it a Hennings?
Hennings.
Yeah.
Hennings Market, Harleysville, PA. Henningsmarket.com. And the main lesson I learned was like, I can't be spending time making these displays. This takes forever. And now my good friend David Rineer makes them, and he's awesome. But Steven helped with that. He helped with some of the like wiring and electric in the building back in the day, with some of the lighting. Pretty sure he helped with the paint job when we did all that. So Steven, strike against him for being allergic to peanut butter, but a lot of good qualities nonetheless. Thank you, Steven.
Just the rest of it makes up for that.
Yeah. No, Steven's great. And he's hilarious. Cassie, what is your role at Nutty Novelties today? 3 kids in.
Yeah, so I have 3 kids. I'm mainly a stay-at-home mom now, but I do still work a couple nights a week. I guess I consider myself just a part-time helper. I'm not like an official employee, I don't think. I mean, I am,
She
but I'm
is
not.
on the books.
I'm on the books,
Nobody's
yes.
paid on the table here at Nutty Novelties.
I'm
Don't
on the
get
books.
that impression.
I'm just very, very, very part-time. But I'm hoping that, once the littlest is in school, like maybe that'll open up some more hours during the day and maybe I can be more helpful then if you'll still have me.
Oh, no, that would be great. We're dying. We can we get that started now?
Well, fast forward a couple years.
Where do you see Nutty Novelties going in the future? And where do you see yourself going in the future?
I mean, Nutty Novelties is just getting bigger and bigger every day. Like, I see you guys just expanding, and I mean, when people ask me where I work and I say Nutty Novelties, and more people are going, oh yeah, I know, I've heard of them. I like their nut butters, and they'll tell me what kind they like. So yeah, I think Nutty Novelties isn't going anywhere. I think you're gonna be around for the long haul.
Thanks, Cass. I hope so too. What about for yourself?
For myself,
You mentioned the whole full-time, maybe 80 hours a week at Nutty, but what else beyond that?
yeah, I mean, 80 hours.
Sign you right up.
Yeah, I mean, right now my priorities are definitely at home.
Yeah.
I haven't quite decided yet. I do hope to get more hours here at some point, but yeah, I'm very dedicated to raising my kids and just making life at home as
Yeah, that's awesome.
good as possible. So
If you could stop listening for this next thing I'm about to say, I'd appreciate it. But Cassie's a wonderful mother, and her kids are amazing kids. And Steven's a great dad.
thank you.
You weren't supposed to be listening. You can come back on.
Oh, I wasn't
Finally, why did you leave us like this? And what's wrong with you? No, I'm just kidding. We already talked about that. Cassie, thank you for joining us today. This has been a delight. Is there anything you'd like to leave our adoring listeners with?
Just keep supporting. Taste all these nut butters. Tell your friends. Just Nutty Novelties is awesome. It's a great place to work. It's great quality products.
Oh, that's a good point. We could use more helpers. It's a great place to work. Please join us.
It is a great place to work. It's very good here.
Thank you, Cass. And as always, you haven't listened to any of the episodes, have you? Dag nabbit, Cass. You gotta get this face. Okay. As always, stay nutty. At the same time. And as always,
Stay nutty.
Woo!